China ain't got no beggars, man. Maybe 20 years ago we had them, but not right now. You're probably impressed if you know I'm a person with credibility, but it doesn't sound reasonable or possible. I mean, we all know China is still a developing third world country with huge population but not much human right. We all know that. So why does a country like this prioritize getting rid of beggars? And how we did it? Can everybody get a job? Is social welfare in China that great? It doesn't mean China is a more civil country. You got so many questions right now, but don't worry, I got you. Let's take a step back to 20 or 30 years ago. Just like pocket pickers, beggars were everywhere. On the streets, on the subways, on the overpass, outside the school gates, be dressed in sloppy clothes with holes and dirt, holding a rotten jar, begging for sympathy. I used to believe those motherfuckers must be broke as hell. Until there's one day I saw the news. There was a beggar made over 10,000 RMB per month on average, which was like $2,000. Even more than my mom's income at the time. That motherfucker was professional. According to reporters, motherfucker put on his beggar outfit every day in the morning and suit up when he's off to work. Be going to the club, party and shit. And that is not a crazy part. Ever since that player got exposed, there's people start running beggars' business. They be pairing old people and children as duo and get them KPI, like 200 RMB per day. If they can't get it, they're gonna be tortured physically. And it's very common to see them crippling or maybe just have one leg or other disabilities. You think that's crazy, but that's not crazy enough. Because this business encourages other business, which is human trafficking. Otherwise, where they get those kids? They even cut a kid's kidney once they bought them from the kidnappers and sell it to the hospitals. The government didn't give too much shit about the beggars, alright, but now it's another story. Normal families are losing kids. That's not good for regime stability, so they start taking actions. I don't know how to deal with those poor people who got kidnapped to the beggars business. Are they gonna find their family or not? Are their families gonna accept them? They never report it. But what I do know is that we have social welfare for a disabled person, 200 RMB per month, which is like 30 bucks. According to Chinese jail food budget, which is 5 RMB per person per day, 200 RMB is just enough to feed themselves. You're only qualified for this money if you have lost all your working abilities, and everybody in your family have lost such abilities as well. I don't know what to say, man. I can only wish them good luck in the rest of their life. Besides those unfortunates, there's people who's actually not educated, ain't got no skill. The government can't just say, we don't allow you to beg on the street no more. Of course they said it, but that's not enough. They need to create more job opportunities with low threshold for beggars to make a living. So the jobs must have barely any requirements. I don't know what kind of genius they are, but they made up jobs straight up telling us the jobs are just an excuse of feeding people with no value. That doesn't sound too ridiculous, that's acceptable, but the jobs they made up were for supervising people, like subway securities, bus securities, auxiliary police, all kinds of security executors. They're not part of the official staff, which means they don't have enough authority when they are on duty. They don't share the same benefits and treatments, but they still got their uniforms. They still get to tell you what to do. I mean, they ain't got no actual power, they're ignorable, but it's still pretty annoying when no matter where you go, there's always people inspecting you. And it starts getting ridiculous when you really think about it. They get paid by your taxes. That's okay, just like how you might show some compassion to the beggars on the street, but they are not grateful to you anymore. They be watching your behaviors, telling you what to do, and they might argue with you for respect. Like, you're giving your money, but you don't get a credit. Instead, you give your money for tighter restrictions, and it's mandatory. That shit just don't make no motherfucking sense. Anyway, fuck it, that's our life. The street I'm filming right now tells you everything about our civil process. These are random streets on the south side of Beijing, aka the hood of Metropolis. People are doing business without any decoration. Everybody's practical, hustle for the basic needs. Nothing fancy, nothing illegal. And I believe this is the naked image of our current status as a nation. Not much difference than 100 years ago. This is Cool Fish, 2024 in Beijing, China. And let me know in the comment what you want to know about my city. Be weird and be outrageous.
别太有太多敌意，没事儿。